go.
This is Castlevania. Well, first it's Konami.
Ah, that classic jingle.
It's Trilobites or something?
Yeah, something like that. Spiders.
Ah, those Super Nintendo sounds. Listen to that lightning. Every 100 years, the forces of good mysteriously start to weaken. Thus, the power of Dracula starts to revive itself. His power grows stronger and stronger every 100 years. Dracula has revived many times. However, his sinister actions have been consistently thwarted by the Belmont family. At this point, twice. Twice? Twice. It's been 100 years since the last confrontation between Dracula and the Belmont family, but now the serenity of Transylvania is being threatened by destructive forces. On a dark and eerie night, Dracula rose from his grave to unleash his destructive power over the countryside. Once again, Simon Belmont is called upon to destroy Dracula. With only his whip and courage, he sets out to restore peace to Transylvania. All this while looking at a destroyed gravestone.
Yep. So, assuming that it's been every 100 years, like, actually happening, this would be the 5th time that Dracula would be fought. Because the first was Lament of Innocence.
Yeah, which he didn't revive at all.
Which he just
kind
was.
That became a Dracula.
Yeah. And the next game that we saw was 400 years later.
Yeah.
So presumably there was some amount of things happening with Dracula there.
Yeah, presumably the
hasn't been told.
The Belmont clan had its time with Leon declaring that they shall hunt the night, and it probably took him a few hundred years to figure out what the hell he meant. I'll hunt you and the night.
So
yeah,
I guess the Trevor was the first Belmont to actually slay Dracula.
So far in timeline, that's as far as we know. And then it was Curse of Darkness, which took place a few years after Dracula was first killed.
And this is 100 years later or so.
Yeah.
So they say consistently, but there's really been exactly one Belmont so far.
Yeah.
Who has actually
fought and defeated
Dracula.
Yeah. And this is the tale of Simon Belmont, or as we like to call him, I it just fits.
That always feels good.
I have no idea what he's wearing.
It looks like he's wearing some sort of, pleated male armor, but also no pants.
So, about as good fashion choices as anything. So this is Super Castlevania 4. It is a retelling of the original Castlevania, which we decided to play because it's either that or play an NES game, really. And we've already seen an NES game and how good I am at that. Oh no, the bridge is open, closing, oh my god. Soundtrack of this game's really good. Also, you get the whip upgrades like you did in previous Castlevania game. Upgrading from a leather whip to a Morning Star to this super long Morning Star. But, unlike the previous game with Belmont, we can do this!
Ah! Ah!
Flail the flail! It's real good.
You can go behind the background.
Yeah! Look at the technology! Cool technology. Alright. We can drop down through these stairs. Stairs, as always, the enemy of people everywhere. I currently am equipped with the sub-weapon of knife! I got a piece of turkey.
That bat's behind. Is that going to still hurt you?
I don't know. Probably not. But I'm not gonna tempt fate. Look at that, there's some flashing going on over there.
Blinky eyes of the gargoyle.
As we enter into the castle proper. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, blah, blah. So, Simon... What?
It's a good thing the whip is consecrated, otherwise he just kinda clearly doesn't really know what he's doing with it.
Well, unlike Trevor, he can actually fire the whip in 8 directions. Well, almost 8 directions. He can diagonal shoot. But he can also, let's say, there's this thing. What am I going to do about that? Oh, I'll just let it hang. Fuck you! My whip's consecrated against evil! This track is called The Theme of Simon.
Now, thinking on it, maybe he knows exactly what he's doing very well, and it's just he's trained with specifically the consecrated whip, so he knows that he doesn't need to put that much power into it in certain, you know, shots. And you can just kind of let it hang like that.
Another thing that you can do... It's pretty cool! Look at this technology!
All these angles!
Okay. There's a little bit of a duck walk that he can do. Important because, dear God, I don't want to die to stairs again.
Oh, you got numeral 2.
Yep.
That was the upgrade to your secondary, right?
Yes, I can now fire 2 boomerangs at once. If I can remember how to fire boomerangs. This button? This button? I thought it was just pulled up.
Is it down? gonna look it up.
But...
R.
R. Okay. Ah. Ah.
Evil Kudzu?
Horse head!
That was too high.
So I should note that just letting your whip dangle does far less damage than an actual strike.
Okay, that actually makes sense. That's nifty.
But it's still very useful because it allows you to use different angles to people. I died in the first level.
I mean, it's been a while since you've played one of these 2Ds.
It has.
And you've been being Hector for so long.
Yeah, I've got to remember how to be a Belmont. So I can later forget how to be a Belmont and be somebody really cool. Yeah.
So see, you've got holy water now.
Yep, it goes like this.
I will always find it amusing that holy water causes fire.
Well, sacred fire. This is, this incarnation of the holy water is one of the weaker ones. Which is unfortunate. I mean, it does a lot of damage, but it's very, very limited. Pocket Watch, however, always good. Especially when there's these things. Remember these? Things that you jump on them and they flip?
And you got Medusa heads at the same time.
Yeah, Dracula decided to front-load all of his terrible, terrible traps this time. He's learned.
Did he? Did he actually front load, or did he just get better traps and then push everything forward a little bit?
Maybe that. Die, Demon Kudzu. But now we fight the first boss. A skeleton on a horse!
Knight horseman.
First things first, kill the horse!
Yeah, because the horse breathes fire for some reason.
Now!
Now you just have to deal with this dude with a lance.
Yeah, he just fucked me up.
You know, normally, you use the lance while you're on the horse.
But when your horse breathes fire, I guess... You know.
I assume, like, the stopwatch doesn't work on bosses.
No. Usually doesn't. Time stopping in general usually doesn't work on bosses in Castlevania games. Until later on in the series.
And you have to specifically hit the head
Yeah.
of the horse. Oh, that went
Not dead?
better.
Got it. And now time to pose. Not the best pose, but it's kind of cool with the
Pretty
like,
decent
whipping
pose. He's like got it
backwards.
wrapped around just
Yeah,
one
yeah,
arm.
yeah. You know, like they do in Trevor. And this is the overworld map. So we just entered through the stables, and now we have to go through the forest. And then we'll fight a boss, and then go through this underwater section.
Okay. Okay.
So, through the forest.
Forest graveyard.
Get off me! Get off me!
Okay, that didn't do any damage. That's surprising to me.
Ah! Swamp Thing!
That's also surprising to me. Why was there a swamp thing?
Ah! It's made of tree!
Okay, so more of a leaf thing.
Spiders are back that shoot spiders.
Demon spiders, clearly, because when you hit them, they ignite.
And, new here is, Sonic the Hedgehog.
Just evil fucking hedgehogs. Okay?
Secret! Pull apart.
Not much of a secret, frankly. It's just kind of
Well,
there.
that's why it's not much of a reward.
Score items.
Yep, stealing Dracula's money. Why are you stealing Dracula's money, Simon? You don't need it for anything. You're armed to the teeth as it is.
I mean, doesn't he?
He's doing it just for points.
Who's paying him just to do this?
No one!
Exactly!
Yeah, okay.
He's gotta make money somehow. He's, eventually his family fortune, which, I mean,
It's
we know
presumably made out of Dracula's money.
we know that his family fortune was basically destroyed prior to, like, Trevor.
Yeah. It's been 100 years, but they probably haven't recovered that much.
So yeah, he's got to make his money somehow, and nope. I mean, Dracula shows up. No one's gonna pay him to take care of it, but he knows he has to, so he may as well, make what money he can out of there.
Frog! Simon's adventures with random wildlife.
Well, random demonic wildlife. This is all demonic because it bursts into flames when you hit it with your consecrated whip. Normal wildlife doesn't burst into flames with contact with holy things. It just kind of dies.
Yeah. I suppose Simon never really figured out the secret behind the whip. And it's not exactly consecrated, but it has the soul of a vampire who wants to kill vampires in it.
Yeah.
Oh, dang it. I much prefer the boomerang to the knife.
Well, knife's got you now. Oh man. Bridge bending under your weight, and the rope that twangs when you jump past it.
That's the power of the Super Nintendo.
There's some fancy pants graphics here.
Alright, and the mid-boss.
Here's that bat that we saw.
It's Medusa!
So this game came out in the 90s, right?
Yeah.
I could imagine so many, those groups that hate video games freaking out over topless Medusa there.
It's okay, it kind of looked like a man for some reason.
I mean, I disagree, but...
Yeah. Oh! This is truly evil water. It's going up.
Well, if it's evil, then just dangle your whip into it, and you'll burn the whole river. Clearly.
Yeah, it worked on that guy. Oh, the river reversed course again.
Okay, it's not necessarily evil, it's just either sentient or there's some skeleton with a lever in the back. Spike there.
Yeah, I don't want to fall in the spikes. These flying enemies, I always thought they were just random demons before, but clearly they're Gaibon now. Because we've established that there are so many Gaibons.
Well, there might not be. Hector killed so many of them.
So many!
I mean, it could be that there used to be a ton of Gaibons, but now there's only like a handful left, which is why you never see them in such large numbers in other games.
Yes! Never!
So I'm going to look up what this enemy is. I'm going to see if I can find, like, the manual.
Alright, we have passed our way through the waterway, and we are now in the caves. So, our path will take us through the caves, up the waterfall, into the aqueduct, and fight a boss.
Okay.
Got some real Chrono Trigger vibes in the music here.
Oh, yeah.
And here we find a Rockman. And you beat him up and he becomes smaller Rockman.
Oh, that evil kudzu. That's not kudzu. That's a swarm of vipers.
Okay, that makes sense.
This certainly is not an exhaustive list of enemies, so, I'm going to have to look at some kind of wiki or something.
Simon does, however, have his family's curse of only being able to jump in one direction.
Oh dear.
Through here is another secret area.
Oh man. So much cash.
And a big ol' thing of meat.
So those guys are more specifically mudmen.
Yep. Rock dudes. Mudmen, basically the same. Here, the stalagmites fall and their shards deal damage.
Those look more like column bits than actual natural stalagmites.
I mean, this whole place does seem to be hewn. Alright, we've made our way through the caves and we are at the waterfall. I don't know if those things are destroyed. Probably not.
It's called a fuzzbuster.
My fuzz has been busted. Another unfortunate side effect of being a Belmont is that if the screen follows you, you can still fall off the bottom and die, even though you know what's down there.
Well, I mean, it's part of Dracula's curse.
Clearly. Dracula's curse!
You know, as you enter the castle, there's just a looming darkness void behind you all the time. So if you ever go back too far, it will kill you? But only vertically?
Yeah, horizontally you're fine. You can extend the length of your whip swing by your whip. Okay. Loop. Got so many hearts. So little health.
Ah, yes, the endlessly confusing distinction in Castlevania between health and hearts.
I could go over there for bonus, but I don't really need to. And here we are at the aqueduct. Remember
Merman!
the fishermen in the aqueduct?
Yeah.
They're back 100 years later.
Well, yeah, you didn't murder all of them.
And they have squirt guns. And barrels. Or column pieces?
Huh. Ah! Eyeball!
Yep. And that's a white dragon. Turns into hearts. I have so little health. There's some health. And he dropped a bonus. And I lost it! So I'm good at video games. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Swinging through the water, not slowing you down at all.
Gotta watch out for these squirt guns.
I'm assuming that they push rather than just directly hurt you?
Oh no, they hurt me.
Oh.
They also push you if you're flying through the air. Because everything pushes you in the air. That's part of the Belmont air control philosophy. Well, that was the first death due to stairs.
Well.
Yep.
Ah. Random water passage opening.
I dropped so many hearts. Bird!
Crow!
Get away! Get away! Get away! Get away! Get away! Get away! Get away!
At least you can do that now. Crows in the Castlevania 3 were much worse.
I would argue, still pretty bad.
Well, yeah. Just, you now have another means to deal with them.
And now,
Oh boy.
boss of the aqueduct.
Oh, I thought this was about to be a chase sequence. Is it?
I hope not. Remember the dragons?
Yeah, what was this? Charybdis? Cilia?
Cilia, I think?
I can never remember which is which. Friggin' Odyssey. Oh, according to the instruction manual, these are Orphic Vipers.
Orphic? Not anymore! No pose there, because I only had 1 health. Man, we're doing so much better than 3. Look at how much progress we've made.
Yeah.